So we're visiting Catalina Island today. There's actually a whole bunch of sharks behind me right here on this cove. And what I want to introduce you to here today is the idea that you're already rich and you have not accepted the fact that you're already rich. So as I'm sitting here looking at these different sharks just kind of swimming around out here in Catalina, I'm on a private island. You know, this must be so rich. I must be just the richest guy to be able to visit this private island. Wow, am I ever rich. Except guess what? It's a dirt cheap boat ride to get out here. And anybody could choose to be out here on this private island. But the average person is gonna not choose to do that. They're gonna sit at home, living their boring fucking life. And for that reason, one of the things that I recommend, I'm gonna be talking about this here in this video, is that one of the first things that you should do if you want to be rich is go visit the things that are actually free and start getting a taste for enjoying life, because you don't realize that you're already a millionaire. So in this video right here, out here on Catalina Island, one of the best days of my life just being out here, what I'm going to introduce you to is a seminar where you're going to learn that you're already rich, but you've got to take it in and stop being a striver, start being an arriver. And once you do that, what's going to wind up happening is you are going to begin to resonate with being rich. And your whole damn life is going to change. Let's get into it.
You've got to be at the point that you have an animosity towards the plebeian version of yourself. Okay? Now remember, the #1 rule of being a plebeian is you're going to work way harder than a rich person. Rich people do not work hard. Okay? I work about 2 months a year. That's it. I work about 2 months a year. Okay? I do not think it is appropriate for a 44-year-old man to be working more than 6 months a year at the most. 6 months on the high end. You should not be working more than 6 months a year. Okay? Now, if you want to see what I'm talking about, pull out your phone, go to Instagram right now, okay? Look up Dylan Cook. D-Y-L-A-N-C-O-K. Flick through some of those pictures. So, I'm a father of 3 sons. What is a father of 3 children doing being at work all day and not raising his own fucking children? Right? Look at his life. Imagine if that had been your life. Imagine if your father had made a decision not to be a pleb. What your life could have looked like. So when we say that money doesn't matter, when you look at those photos of what I'm able to do for my children, does money really not matter?
Let's just see.
My kid said to me, I want to see whales. He says, I love whales. I go, cool. Tomorrow, we'll go see some fucking whales. Right? Now, when he's 18, he won't get one more penny out of me. He's more broke than anybody in this room. Okay? So, in knowing that he will not get one dime out of me after age of 18, what that means is that there's a pressure to make sure that he understands how to make money by the time that he's 18. So I don't get to spend my way out of being a father, right? Like I don't just get to be like, oh, I'm a good dad because I gave money to my kids. No, I'm putting in the time and I'm putting in the education. They can do with it what they want. Hey, Tristan. Say hi. Hi. Say, I'm Tristan Cook.
I'm Tristan Cook.
What's your favorite thing to do, Tristan? What's your favorite thing to do?
Going to the zoo.
You like the zoo? What do you like to see at the zoo?
Giraffes.
Like to see giraffes? What else do you like to do?
Zebras.
Yeah? Do you like to see aquarium?
Yeah.
What do you see at the aquarium?
Whales.
Whales? I don't know if you see whales at the aquarium. Where do we see whales?
Shark whale.
Oh, a whale shark. That's going to be at the Georgia Aquarium. Okay? Okay, say bye to everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. There you go. So, yeah, so what he does is he's gonna jot every single thing down, and then what's gonna wind up happening is he's gonna build his whole fucking thing. It's gonna be awesome. Now, my other son, Vincent, has autism, by the way, as you guys can see there, right? Vincent, say hi. Hi. Hey. Say, Vincent, come here, buddy. Okay, tell them your name.
Vincent.
Ask them how they're doing.
How are you doing?
Good. Good stuff. Okay. All right, Vincent, could you wait outside? Thanks, buddy. Give me a hand, guys. So, Yeah, now, by the way, he has the best tutors. He has the best helpers. Money, 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 right? Kids can have all sorts of challenges. So you got to think about it like real wealth is not just making a bunch of money and then sending your kids to do a bunch of drugs and then just giving them money when they're older so that they're fuck-ups. Real wealth is that, by the time that your kids hit an age where you're not going to get those years back, you can spend those years with your kids, take them places, travel with them, put in real time, let them see the world. Now, the funny thing is with Dylan has some of the best grades in his school, and he's at the gifted school for his district, and yet he misses half the fucking school year. So, okay, you guys know that most kids right now, they're hooked on the screen, right? They're hooked on screen time. So they live in this sort of internet world where they sit at home, they're in the same city, the parents are probably grumpy and traumatized and yell at them and all that kind of stuff. So what is the reality that he's getting when his version of reality is like planning out places to go, hammering out logistics, looking at variables, and then basically going and executing on it, actually seeing it? What's his life like? What's that? Yeah, it's a lot more complex. He's more independent. Yeah, he noticed that he has a lot of these schedules to memory. Yeah, by the way, he does it with skiing. He goes skiing up in Big Sky, Montana by himself, planning out all his routes. He's got the map memorized. Wow. It's fucking crazy, actually.
It's rewarding.
Yeah, it's rewarding. Definitely. Yeah, what else?
Repercussions to his actions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's real repercussions because he can see if he fucks something up that something happens. Or if I fuck something up, what happens? So he's learning that, how other people can fuck shit up. Yeah, is he intimidated by me as his dad? No, he's not, right? So he has frame control. He will not follow my frame ever. He was taught since he was young. He's done public speaking with me for a long time. He's been out of practice because he's been in school, so this is his first time back up here in a while. But he's run segments of the public speaking trainings. So it's his life. Like, he can do what he wants to do with his life. He's been given the opportunity to understand what the world is. So he may take that when he's older as, you know what, I've seen everything. I kind of just want to be at home now. Maybe he'll feel that way. Maybe he'll be more, but what I'm hoping that he would feel is the world is not just meant to be lived on the internet. And that's the problem, and that's what I'm trying to get at here. The plebeian mindset is I go to a job that I hate, and then I go home and I look at, they feed me my gruel, my plebeian gruel of images on a screen. Now, by the way, the metaverse, they're going to take that to a better level if they're successful, to where it's where the gruel, it's not that your life's getting better, it's that they're going to give you a higher grade gruel is what's going to be happening. Okay, so all that I never needed anything from Dylan other than to be my son. I never wanted or needed anything from him. But the only major influence that I was hoping to have was basically to show him what an easy, remember, my life is easy. I have a very, very easy life. I don't work hard, okay? I work hard for most of my life. Let me explain something to you, okay? When I was younger and I worked super, super hard, it's because I was at a low paradigm and I didn't know how to make money properly. When you know how to make money properly, you work 2-3 months a year if you want, okay? So when I went through, I've talked about when I went through the global recession in 2008 and my business was really stressed and I was working 18-hour days for years. I've done all that. I've worked 18-hour days for decades at a time in order to build my business. I did that because I was in a low paradigm. I didn't understand how money worked. I didn't understand how, basically when you're new, okay, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you wind up putting in so many hours to overcompensate for lack of knowledge. So what happens is as you get older, you hit a higher level paradigm and then things are not as hard anymore. Okay? It's like when I was younger learning social skills and I had to remember every single line and hours of lines. When I'm older, I don't need to do that to do well socially. That's because it got easier. But here's the problem. And you'll watch this when you're an adult, so this will be key for you too, okay? The major key is you're so addicted to things being hard that when the information for things to be easy get given to you, your brain won't accept the software. It is a slave mindset. You have the slave programming. You don't need to do the horrific version. I'm going to take him to plantations out here to show him how disgusting and horrific things were back in the day. Horrific, unacceptable, disgusting, and there's a national shame because of that. But that being said, remember that, guys, they just sweeten the deal. They just sweeten the deal. You don't need to put somebody up in shackles to enslave them. There's many, many, many other ways that you can do it. For example, make them think it's their idea. Wouldn't that be a better way? Yeah. Sweeten the deal. Wouldn't that be a better way? So when we go for real freedom, do we really want freedom? Is that what we really want? Or is what we want is be enslaved, but we want them just to give us a better deal? Which one is it? Right? Are we like the little union guys going, I want a better deal? Or are we trying to break the system at its core? So, you know, when you look at something like, say, America, we have a beautiful system here that you do pay taxes into. You know, when you get a gym membership and, you know, maybe you don't use it. America has a gorgeous road system and a gorgeous national park system. You can buy an Icon Pass or an Epic Pass and ski the whole country. One does about half the resorts, the other does the other half the resorts, like almost all of them, not all of them, but almost all of them, for like $1,200. And you could literally go ski almost every major ski hill in the country. But you won't even get the time to get off work to go do it. And even if you do get off work, you have to go skiing on the weekends when it's freaking packed. And you're going to pay more for Airbnb, more for a hotel because you're there on the weekend, and you're going to sit in line for 45 minutes to get to the lift. Or you go on a motherfucking Wednesday, the same Airbnb that say at Big Bear in California, we go to way better resorts than that, but let's say in California, Big Bear, the same resort that you pay $1,800, $1,900 for per night, maybe share it with friends, you get that for $375 on a Wednesday. Right? So you're getting no wait times, better powder, and the same almost $2,000 Airbnb for $300 something because you're allowed to go in the week.
Where are we today, buddy?
We're in ice.
The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. It's expensive to be broke. You ever heard that expression? It's expensive to be poor. It's expensive to be broke. So I'll explain why more in detail as we go along. Right? It's like that person who needs organic food to avoid a health crisis can't afford it. They wind up getting cancer. They wind up getting heart disease, and then it costs them millions. It's expensive to be broke. Maybe you don't learn social skills. You marry the wrong person. Wind up millions lost in divorce. It's expensive to be broke because maybe somebody could help you with that. So you see where I'm going with this, right? Like it's fucked up, but you have to understand, nobody forced this on you. Like you chose to accept it. Again, people complain and it's like, well, did you read the Alex Hormozi book? No. Well, then why are you learning everything about the system top to bottom? Like, because we can make this whole next 2 days just me explain to you how the system's fucking you. A quick question. You look like you got a good one. Yell it out.
You're saying, you know, people, once they accept that they're a peon, so to speak, and that they want to get out of their 9-to-5 grind, and that they don't want to trade time for money,
yep.
They still have to go a lot of 18 hours just to get that knowledge so that they
yep.
can. Are you saying they fail because they don't put in the work to get that new knowledge?
Well, you have to understand that I could show you how to fix this in 5 minutes. I could show you everything you need in the next 5 minutes. Like, you could be out of this in 5 minutes.
Well,
but
do 18-hour days.
No. I could show you how to be out of this in 5 minutes, and you wouldn't even have to work that hard. But it's karmic. It's karmic. It's a weird thing. Humans, we need the pain. Like, I could tell you, like, there was things that people would tell me, like, they would tell me something that would make me an extra $30,000, $40,000 in, say, 10 or 15 minutes. And they could tell me that, like, 2002, I could hear that. I don't listen. 2005, I hear that. I don't listen. 2015, I hear that. I don't listen. Finally, after decades of hell, I'm like, maybe I should listen. I sit the guy down, I listen, and I get the information. Why was it that I couldn't receive that when I was earlier in my cycle? Because I hadn't been in enough pain. So it was just, I just wasn't ready. I mean, you guys gotta understand, you're in this like vortex of like pain addiction. It's a combination of this. Addiction to pain, you're hooked on your pain. Success barriers related with status is another big one, okay? You're afraid to increase your status because you're afraid that other men will come kill you. So this is a really, really big one. Our mind holds us in a derp state Because if we elevate, very, very subtle. If you can hear this, this is you got to have the eyes to see. You have to have your ears open for this. Okay, you have to open your ears. You have to open your ears. The way the brain works is this. If you believe that you have enough status, your brain gives you permission to let your brain start working properly. If you believe that you have enough status, your brain gives you permission for your voice to open up. How do I know this? Because I've been out on a great night out, and I had a lot of, we'll call it validation that night. And what winds up happening is that I feel so good that my voice explodes, my brain switches on, and the things that happen are beyond your imagination. But your brain won't let you do that unless you've checked that you have the alliances necessary. Because what will happen is, I've been in small towns, okay, where people are more like prone to fight. And if I walk in there with a big booming voice and I'm really switched on, they will intuitively come and try to beat me up. They actually, they go, status hierarchy, reinforce, and they come, they just start hitting you. So I was out in Kauai, Hawaii, for example, and me and my buddy, we went out there and we were tearing up the club. And literally so many, and a lot of the guys out there study MMA, and they'll viciously beat the crap out of each other out there too. It's actually kind of sad. It's a big thing in Hawaii, is MMA. It's a beautiful tradition, but you'll see people getting bloodied up and carried to the hospital every night you go out in Hawaii. And so literally, you'd see these guys come up and they start swinging at us. What do? We just had a fun night. So you're literally afraid to switch your own brain on. Do you ever sometimes feel like you need caffeine to be alert? Do you ever look at me and I just look like very alert and fired up a lot of the time? And you're like, why is he like that? Why is he like that? Okay? The reason why it is because I've removed the status governor in my brain. So if you can remove that, then your brain switches on. So you're thinking you need 18-hour days, but the truth is most of us need 18-hour days because we're not ready to let the information land until we feel that we've put in the time. But you could jump that whole thing. You could just skip that whole thing, but your brain won't let you do it. This seminar doesn't need to be more than about 4 or 5 minutes. That's all that it would take. You never need to watch another video of mine again. You never need to do another training. But in spite of that, I've got to call you plebs. I've got to yell at you. I've got to get you to build masterminds. I've got to get you to start reading stuff. Like, I've got to get you going through this whole thing. You have to understand something. You don't understand, okay? There's bigger problems than that you can't make money. That's not the problem. The problem is that you can make money. That's the problem. That's a big problem. It should not be this easy to make money. That's the problem. The problem is not that it's hard to make money. The problem is that the populace has been brainwashed as consumer zombies. The problem is that our phones have a potentially sentient AI overlord in it, listening to your every fucking word, making tracking on you of what your niche interests are to send you advertisements, and on a tiny budget, a fraction of what you would have needed 100 years ago with brick and mortar in the days of Carnegie and Rockefeller. Now, any random person can just go to a platform and they'll spy on everybody, tracking their interests so that you can make some weird niche thing, selling to a brainwashed consumer culture group. That's the larger problem. I'll let you go do your thing, okay? Get ahead of Dylan, guys. Yeah. Grab the mic. So that'll be a good. Okay. Go enjoy. Okay. Thank you. So, there's much bigger problems than that we can't make money. You're in a consumer culture brainwash, spiritually enslaved reality with AI. The problem is that you can't make money. The problem is you can. The problem is you can.
Too much distraction.
The problem is that the world's probably ending. We're going down, bro. Mayday, mayday. Okay? The Titanic's sinking. I'm just showing you how to have a party on it. It's like these guys that think they can't get good social results. Like, now that Dylan's gone, you're in a feminist brainwash culture of third-wave feminism where they're told that it's empowering to hook up with you. They're being told that they fucked you and you couldn't get a date. The problem is not that you can't get a date. The problem is you can. The problem is not that an ugly guy couldn't punch out of his weight. The problem is he can. They'll just go with anybody. Guys are like, there's problems. I can't make money. I can't get a date. No, the problem is you can make money and you can get a date. And you're a derping retard and you can still do it. The system's that soft because the populace has been manicured into being brainwashed consumer zombies who think that they're fucking you. You understand? You don't have individual problems. You have collective problems that are far bigger than your individual problems. You're just so many layers down that you're stuck at these problems. You're so many layers down, like, I can't make money. No, you can. The population has been brainwashed to give you all their money. I can't get a date. No, you can. The population has been falsely brainwashed to think that they're fucking you. I fuck him. You don't have individual problems. You have a very large collective problem. So I will cover the individual problems here this weekend. Okay? Then when you come out of that, when you wake up and you go, it's this easy, then you can become like Elon and go buy Twitter and say free speech. Okay? Then you can go do that. Okay? You don't have a problem. So like, oh, go to work 18 hours a day. No, you don't. That's the problem.
You don't have to go to get a new knowledge skill set.
No.
Okay.
No. It's a brainwashed populace, brainwashed zombies that can't, even in a recession, they just spend all their money. Economy's falling apart. Spend. They're not going to stop. They can't stop. They have no impulse control. The impulse control has been eroded out of their brains. They're all mostly on drugs. Half of you in this room are druggies. You're like, it's okay I take drugs. No, it's not. It's not okay. I have a drink once in a while. Also not okay. I eat this processed food. Also not okay. I'm not even judging you. I'm not judging. I'm just telling you you're fucked. But you have to allow yourself, okay, they've groomed and manicured you into this. You're compliant. You have no will. You know, you're watching the country totally lose its morale and you're just letting it happen. Everybody's fighting with each other. You're not doing anything whatsoever to exert any kind of fucking leadership to turn the fucking country around. And you're gonna watch China come in here and steamroll us, and you're gonna be speaking Mandarin by the time you're dead, and you're gonna let it happen. And I like the Chinese people, but I don't wanna be under fucking communism. You even accept that 1 billion people are enslaved under communism and say nothing about it. Because you're demoralized. You're demoralized, you're brainwashed, you're derped out, you're on drugs, you're fucked.
In 1927, an American journalist wrote, "A change has come over our democracy. It is called consumptionism. The American citizen's first importance to his country is now no longer that of citizen, but that of consumer."
So, you are in that complacent state. And then you hear me say, you could learn how to make money quickly, and you go, could that be true? I get it. I understand. Okay? So I'm trying to drop knowledge on you here, okay? I'm trying to give you a little, put you on game. Give you a bit of knowledge. Okay? There's the wolves and the sheep guys, and you're the sheep. And what I'd like to see is you become a wolf, but it doesn't try to just go eat the sheep, but turns other sheep into wolves. Because the truth is the world would be so much better off if everybody just woke the fuck up. There'd be more money for everybody. There'd be more money for everybody. We'd get rid of disease. We get rid of poverty. We get rid of fighting. We wouldn't have nuclear war at fucking risk, okay? In my, again, as someone who's, okay, might not look like the best Christian, but as a bad practicing Christian, it's a spiritual warfare in my opinion. It's God versus the devil. Like, you study this stuff long enough and you see this shit long enough, you're like, I think this is just fucking Satan. Yeah. Like, you're just like, this is Satan. I can't find any answer. I've studied thousands of hours trying to understand cluster B personality disorders and evil and psychological disorders because I just can't understand how we're all so fucked. I look for every logical and academic explanation I can find. I can speak to that. I'm not just some person who hasn't read about this stuff or watched videos about this stuff, and I just go, oh, it's the devil. Oh. No, that's the, if you would have told me like at 44, you're gonna be like in Charlotte, like the devil, okay? I would never have believed you. Like it's literally to the point, like you study everything, and you're like, oh, these religious people are idiots. You study everything, you're like, it's just the devil. It's just fucking Satan, okay? It doesn't mean a guy with horns, it's an energy. There's an energy that comes up that stifles you, and then it takes the main people that are in control. It takes control of them, makes them resonate with building out systems that will further this, and then as a result, you're part of that system. You're put in too. So you have to resist. And the funny thing is, what I'm saying sounds fucked up, but then when you think about it, this is more real than real. This is the real. Like as I'm talking right now, you probably feel like you're coming out of a trance, not being induced into a trance, right? Do you guys feel like you're being induced into a trance or being induced out of a trance? Ow. That's just my opinion. Right? But really, that's putting you deeper in. But no, but yeah, it's not. You probably don't feel less clear. You probably feel more clear. So you're like, what the fuck am I doing, right? A great spiritual text like the Sermon on the Mount, you're supposed to cry when you read that. It only takes 15 minutes to read. You're supposed to cry when you read that because you go, oh, what the fuck have I been doing? Oh my God, I'm in a trance. I'm in a fucking trance. Fuck. And it takes this mist, this fog of war, and it just puts the light on it, and it just clears it. And you go, ah, ah, ah. Like that's how you should look when you read the Sermon on the Mount. It should be intense. It should be transformative, not just like, oh, I read it to say that I'm this or that or the other thing, right? It should be transformative. That's the problem. This country got fucking complacent. The problem with freedom is we have so much prosperity that it becomes top-heavy and kills everything. It fucks everything up. Freedom is not a problem for the reason people saying. Freedom is a problem because you get so much prosperity that people become lazy and complacent. Then you get the end of the empire. And we are sitting here now teetering at the edge of the empire, end of the empire like Rome. That's where we're at. Okay? And you are the reason why. So, okay, you should be literally in your mind, if you see a demoralized public, hey, this is a good country. And I'm a Canadian, guys. I'm fucking Canadian. I'm fucking Canadian. Okay? Sometimes you need a Canadian to show you how to be an American. Because the truth is, being American is not just about nationality. American means that you buy into the Constitution. And that means that you buy into human freedom. And that means that you buy, and even though the Constitution did not include everybody at the start, but it paved the way and was the best we had. And that should be viewed and enshrined as something created by God. But you don't think about it that way, do you? You don't look at the Constitution as holy, right? You don't look at a guy like the people who laid the way for us, many of them. Do you see them as holy missionaries? Or do you just see them as like just some guy? Right? You have to think of it like freedom is the chance for the awakening of the soul. Because the problem is, as long as you're being fed trinkets, you're being kept unconscious, your soul cannot awaken. Making money or getting a better social life or dating life, those are just base level things that you do in order to show that you have some degree of autonomy. So that's the beginning part of your journey. But fundamentally, it is the ability to walk around without these parasitic entities sucking energy off of you and making it to where you have no independent will, you have no real discernment as far as what's happening, you don't have access to a flow state without somebody else giving it to you. What is most of the candy of the masses? It is, I want to be on autopilot and I want to be unconscious. Right? Let's get crunk. Give me unconsciousness. Tell me what to do. Govern me harder, daddy. Okay? Right? It's guys, study S&M and what that shit is. Because that shows you what the relationship that you're getting put into. Where you like being hurt. You like pain. You look at a guy, you look at someone with S&M and you're like, oh, okay, S&M. Like, yeah, like some dominatrix, like, you know, puts wax on his nipples or some shit, right? And you're like, oh, but I'm not like that. You're not? Really? You're not, you don't have a bit of that in you too? You're not doing things to actively hurt yourself? You're not actively making decisions that hurt you? Of course you are. You are your own dominatrix. You're squeezing your own tits. You're cutting yourself. You're whipping yourself. And you like it and you ask for more. So it's one of these things where, you know, for the country to turn around, it's going to have to be this thing where you are not demoralized. You love your country. You love the other people in it. Even, and I jokingly say words like plebs, but that's to try to snap you out of it out of love. Also, if you make money, it's not, like I said earlier, it's not about buying your kids love or buying your kids out, right? Like, oh, I'll give you money when you're older. I'll be a workaholic. Then when you're older and you weren't trained properly on public speaking or entrepreneurship, I'm just going to give you money to compensate for the time that I didn't want to put in because I just work all the time. When I'm sitting here patiently having Dylan speaking, how many other public speakers do you even see that bring their children with them on events and take the time to get them speaking and get them up in front of crowds? No, they won't do it because you make less money when you do that because it's not leading towards upsells. But I will put in that time. I don't give a fuck. It's my children. So that's called being a proper father. Living a proper life means you go, whether it's skiing, I say it's a broken leg, but you go skiing, you go to national parks, you buy the clothes that you want to buy. You see some watch you want, you buy it. You see some house you want to live in, you go buy it. You see the kind of person that you want to date, you go date them. That's normal. You have the kind of friends that you want to have. You go, like, what's crazy, the sad truth is, I'll be here a week, and I'll check out all of Charlotte, I'll have the whole, because you saw Dylan, I'll have the whole list. I'll see the whole damn city. Then I will go to Wilmington and I'll see all that. 2 hours away is Charleston. I'll go see all that. Savannah's 2 hours away. I'll go see all that. Jekyll Island, where the elites created the modern day financial system, is down there. I'll check out all that. And that'll just be me in a week. How many of you in here who live here have done that? What the fuck, guys? So I'm here for fucking 5 days and nobody here's done that. And all I've done, I'm whooping your ass in your own shit. I'm in your turf and I'm beating your ass. Okay, I'm fucking with your brain. I'm just trying to get you competitive. It's not a competition. It's not a travel competition. It's like super hardcore travel competition. I beat your ass. I've been to Wilmington. Okay? Michael Jordan from there. So, but what I'm saying, it's not a point that you need to go do these things. Maybe traveling's not your thing. Fine. Well, then show me. If you're a homebody, then show me what you build at your house. You've got a big yard. Your house is laid out well. You've got some good cutlery. I don't know. Like, just show me that you're aware. Show me that you give a fuck. Do you give a fuck? Yeah. So, right, and by the way, I've read hundreds of books on Eastern philosophy, meditated. I get it, because I'll beat your ass on meditation too. And I'll sit there, you put me in a jail cell the rest of my life, I'll beat your ass from jail. Because I'll sit there and I'll go, and I'll just be president, and I'll be more happy than the average person on the outside of jail, just sitting in my cell. And I'll come out looking like on some Nelson Mandela shit. I'll be like, hey, what's up? You like, how was that? I'll be like, it was great, meditated. Yeah, meditated. Yeah. By the way, one of my favorite books is Long Walk to Freedom, so I went to South Africa. I met President F.W. de Klerk. I met people that were in jail with Ahmed Kathrada because I care. If I read a book about something I like, I want to go there. I want to see it. I want to meet the people. You ever see kind of random, but you ever see the video that I did where I was with Shane Tyler Milson from Black Magic Alchemy doing a mushroom foraging? You guys ever see that? Yeah. I'm foraging for mushrooms in upstate New York, right? And we're getting mushrooms. Why? Because I like reishi mushroom. So if I like reishi mushroom and I think it's cool, and he does chaga mushroom, especially, also does reishi, then I want to meet the guy from my favorite company. I want to convince him to take me on a fucking tour. And I want to convince him to do a video with me. Why am I like this? Why can't I just take the mushroom? It's not shrooms, by the way. It's medicinal mushroom. I know they think that's medicinal, but anyway. So, okay. So why am I like, no, I can't just take Black Magic Alchemy. I'm going to befriend the owner, and we're going to become homies, and then we're going to go to Adirondack Mountains, and then we're going to make a video. Why am I like that?
Because you're awake.
Because I drink a lot of caffeine. Okay? Adderall, cocaine. Okay? Why do I do this?
You want to get the very most out of it.
I love my life. You're naturally going to become like that when you stop having apathy for your life. The fundamental plebeian dynamic is based on apathy. They break you. They break you spiritually. They break your soul. They take all the fun out of life. Okay? You want to be there. Whether it's you're young and single, you're in Miami South Beach, winds in your hair or beard in my case, you're sitting there with like the hottest girls, making out, dancing with your friends. You just came back from Zuma, Prime 112. You had a great fucking time. Maybe you're young, that's your thing. I do a lot of that. Okay? Or maybe it's the kind of thing where you're older, you're with your kids, you're up in Denali Mountains with your kids in a private plane, landing up in the highest mountains in North America. You know, your baby boy says, I like whale, I like whale. You go, cool, we're going tomorrow to see the fucking whales. Get on the plane. Go up, see the, you know, take him on whale tours. Whales are popping out, his mind's fucking blown. And now his version of reality is the world's an awesome place. The world's a fun place. I'm not just gonna be a part of the plebeian dynamic of passiveness. I'm gonna actually engage with the world. Guys, it's a decision to engage with the world. But you have to understand, a lot of people would hear this and they think that this is like the plebeian crack cocaine. Plebeian crack cocaine would be like, oh, do I still get to stay on autopilot? Do I get super, super duper numb when I go to Alaska? If I go to Miami and I meet a hot girl and we have sex, do I get to be super duper numb and unconscious while we have sex? That's how they're thinking. Or like, does my ego get fulfillment when I'm having sex? Is what their mind's thinking. No, it's not about that. Even when you think about something like sex, the mere act to go out and get it is still a lot of things happening, right? You don't just sit there. You have to be active and engaged. So if it was actually just to be a derper, the juice wouldn't be worth the squeeze. Maybe you have sex for 20 minutes, but you had to like fly to Miami, find the club, go out, meet a bunch of people, blah, 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 blah. It's hours and hours and hours for what, 20 minutes? The juice isn't worth the squeeze for the average person. It is only worth it if you're not in apathy. Flying to Alaska is not worth it if it's just more unconsciousness, because you've got to plan it, you've got to pay for it, you've got to set it up. By the time that you fly there, yeah, you see the whale for maybe 2-3 hours, but a lot of that was getting to the tour, all that kind of stuff. You know, oh, I pick mushrooms with Shane Tyler Milson. Okay, that's cool, but I still had to fly there, I had to make the phone calls, I had to set it up, I had to shoot the footage, I had to edit it. It's not a highlight reel. It's not just the crack cocaine for derpers. It's a joy of life. It's a passion for life. It's a passion for not having your soul beaten down into shit and having a cool life and having a fun life. That's what my goal is to teach Dylan and my kids. Is like, yo, the world's a big place. Go see it. Go do something with it. I don't care if he's broke or rich. What I care about is that he's not unconscious. He's not in the pleb dynamic. Look, most adult men are dead even though the physical body's still alive. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that I'm saying, oh, they're like kind of demoralized. No, you want the real fucking red pill? They're dead. They're dead. They're not there. There's no one home. It's a bunch of neural networks firing that make the mouth move. You ever have really close friends betray you and you can't figure out why? Yes. And you're like, and then you talk to them and they're like, no, I did not do that. And you're like, whoa, like you did that. I know, like, because I have cameras in my house. I got a lot of nice things there. So people will sometimes steal stuff. And I'll be like, and I have the footage. And I'm like, hey man, could I get this back? And they're like, no, I would never do that. I am your friend. Who would ever possibly do something? I'm like, whoa. And when I realized, I'm like, oh, they're dead. They're dead. There's no, some of you in this room are dead and you're not even aware of it. Neural networks are firing like, hello, I'm Owen. Hi. Yes, I'm not one of the dead ones. I am actually a human. I am not like that, okay? And you'll tell me what I want to hear because you're frame matching me, but you may be dead. I think every human on earth should pause and consider, am I actually dead? Look, if you can't get to things on time, if you can't build your life the way that you want, if you have things like approach anxiety, you might want to consider that you're dead. You ever wonder that? You ever just wonder if you're fucking dead? Because you can't, you know, there's like a cake on the thing, you just shove your face in it, you're like, am I dead? There's no control here. So, and by the way, this runs really deep. I don't mean to scare you guys, but if you actually study deep psychology, huge percentage of the population is what's called, I'm probably not going to pronounce probably, it's called somnambulists. They're in a walking daze.
NPCs.
Yeah, they generally call that non-player character, right? Yeah. So, okay, they're just frame matching. So what my fundamental philosophy is I teach on the surface how to make a lot of cash, how to get better social skills, how to get more spiritually tapped in. That's what I teach on the surface. I teach that to you under the assumption that you're an NPC and that that's what would attract you. But in reality, and by the way, I'll teach that to you better than anyone on earth. But in reality, what am I actually passionate about? What really drives me and fires me up?
Freeing our souls.
Yeah, it's being spiritually awakened, and it's actually having proactivity in you. It's actually a human coming back online. It is a human gradually coming back online. That's what I care about. So confront that retard nature, confront that plebeian nature inside of yourself and say, is this what I want to be? Understand, guys, during COVID, I coached so many multimillionaires and billionaires because I couldn't run seminars and I couldn't do in-field training. And so I finally wound up tapping into the upper 0.1% of my list. I normally won't offer one-on-one because I'm just busy. I'd rather just be doing what I'm doing. But I had nothing else to do. So I started doing one-on-ones. And some of these guys, you know, they're super famous, they're super rich. You know what you realize with these guys? They don't want out of the jail. They want a golden jail with golden bars, a waterbed, a masseuse, a party. Hell, maybe they want a threesome in the jail. But they don't want to get out of the jail. They're not ready to get out. I had this one guy who, he went through some shit, like some heavy shit. And I was so excited for him. This guy's so rich. And I was uniquely qualified to show him how to get out of the shit because I'm a rare individual who's had similar problems. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. God has shined upon you. God has shined upon you. You're going to have the biggest awakening you can imagine. You have no idea. Because his problem was he's the golden boy, right? He's this near billionaire entrepreneur, golden boy, who's used to getting everything that he wants. I'm like, you're finally getting what you don't want. This is going to be so good for you. You're going to learn the art of, because what does awakening come from? It comes from conscious non-resistance. Say that word, conscious non-resistance. That's what it is. That's where the frequency elevates. It has to be conscious non-resistance. That's why Jesus dies on the cross. So what happens with conscious non-resistance is that you have that awakening, and if you get super, super rich, you never have to engage with conscious non-resistance. So he actually had the opportunity to have conscious non-resistance. I had ways to show him how to, I wrote manuals for this guy, pages upon pages, entire manuals, because I'm going to save this guy's fucking soul. I'm working 5 times harder than I have to or anything that he's paying me for because I want to save this guy's. I'm like, holy shit, like this guy's going to really wake up. Like this is God's plan. This is God's plan. This guy's going to wake up. He's going to wake up. If I think somebody's going to wake up, I will go to the end of the earth for that person. And because it's literally like giving a baby into the world. And he's going to wake up. I showed him everything. And he's like, I just want the problem to go away. So as a way to get out of the problem that he had, he donated $250 million to try to get rid of the problem. $250 million. And I said to him, you're not going to get a shred of good press out of this. When he gave that $250 million, you think he got any good press? Maybe he got a bit of good internal goodwill, but he gave away $250 million because he believed that the problem would just go away. But he didn't understand. He didn't see it in a divine plan. This is God's plan. He didn't see it as God's plan and a chance for his awakening, which is worth more than any amount of money he could ever have. More than any kind of reputation he could ever have. He could have had an awakening. But he just couldn't listen. The parasite ran his brain. The parasite that suppresses consciousness, which runs as a flywheel, suppressed his brain. And what wound up happening was the parasite wanted to stay alive. The parasite wasn't ready to die. The parasite on the mind is a flywheel that's running that keeps you in poverty and it keeps you in scarcity so that it can live. It keeps you there. Have you ever had friends who you go to help and you give them the exact resources that they need, but they can't take it? That is a parasite that is running, okay? You asked earlier, like, but what do you mean? Don't you need like 18 hours a day to learn a skill set? There's so many cool skill sets that you can spend 18 hours a day learning, right? There's so many. And I recommend learning those. I do public speaking, and I'll do a ton of public speaking this weekend and practice skill set. I love it, yeah. But the truth is, there's a bunch of cheesy ways to make money that are so easy that don't even take that. But people aren't ready to hear it. Look, there was a lot of things that I wasn't ready to hear. I was there when crypto was coming out. I was plugged in all those circles when crypto was coming out. So many of my friends have hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars right now because they got in early on crypto. But I just couldn't do it. But I was given that. I knew my friends were so deep in the crypto world. They sat me down. They said, Owen, here's how crypto works. Here's why it's going to pop off. Here's what's going to happen. I trusted these guys, but I wasn't ready to be a billionaire. So a bunch of my friends became billionaires or hundreds of millions. That's a lot of the circles that I'm in now. A lot of people that do one-on-ones with me are those guys. And I wasn't ready to hear it. But there's countless other things that are like that. Okay? Countless other things like that where I just wasn't ready to hear it. Okay? So, look, when you guys see me do those little live broadcasts that I do, okay, you ever see me do those, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how I'll say, hey, click the link below? Just by me doing 4 to 8 of those a month, just 4 to 8 of those a month, I'll bring 6 figures in the business. Okay? Now, when I say click the link below, do I half step it? How confident am I when I say click the link below? Very, very, very confident. Hey, click the fucking link. Thanks, bro. Here's another gem for you, okay? That is a healthy relationship between giving and receiving. Many of you in this room have an unhealthy relationship to giving. Many of you in this room have an unhealthy relationship to receiving. How many of you have ever been out at a club, you met someone who's super attractive, they want you, they like you, and you fuck it up? Because you weren't ready to receive. You couldn't just take the fucking, you couldn't just shut the fuck up and take the fucking win. Do you guys know that 90% of dating is just shutting the fuck up and taking the win? The girls here can attest that, right? If these guys could just shut the fuck up and take the win. The growl, she likes the growl, yeah. Yeah, no, it's for the girls here, you like it too, huh? Thank you. Okay, yeah, both girls like the growl. Okay, how many of you guys have been ready to take a guy home and he talked himself out of it? Maybe on a date, whatever it was, like you liked a guy, and maybe you want to, kiss him or who knows, but he talked himself out of it. Like you were ready, but he just couldn't shut the fuck up. You ever had that happen? You ever see a guy that's cute and then he opened his mouth? You relate to that? He's cute, but he had to open his mouth, right? What's that? You'd say the majority, right? Majority of men, it's like you're cute, but you had to open your fucking mouth. That's guys talking themselves out of success. They're trying too hard. There's an expression for this, they call it, you're doing too much, bro. You're doing too much, bro. You're doing too much. You're talking yourself out of it. You guys ever see me do those approaches silent, on video, silent with no talking at all? All that I'm doing is just not opening my mouth. But that's a spiritual thing because what you're doing is you're showing that it can be easy, right? As far as the skills that you were asking about, all you have to do is read a bit of John Carlton, Dan Kennedy, Alex Ramosi, and they show you how to create offers to where, look, when I'm bored, just when I'm bored, I just do this out of, okay, what I do is whenever I'm waiting for an Uber, and I got to sit there for like a little bit of time because it's running a bit late, I say to myself, can I close a 5K sale off of a Zelle or off of a Venmo or PayPal in the next 7 minutes? Can I get $5 grand in the next 7 minutes? I look around, I try to identify somebody who looks financially qualified, and I go and we talk. Sometimes all you got to do to make $5 grand in 5 minutes is just be honest with somebody. Just be honest. Talk to them about how you could help them. But learn from guys like Hermosi how to structure that explanation in a way that quickly resonates. But here's what you guys don't understand. Most of you in this room cannot read Hermosi. You can't. If I give you a John Carlton book, you can't read it. You're not able to. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that it is like Dracula with a cross? How easy is it to sit there looking at TikTok? Right? Very, very easy. What's more actually entertaining? Hermosi making millions of dollars or TikTok? Hundreds of millions of dollars or TikTok? Of course, hundreds of millions of dollars. But you're spiritually enslaved. So you need your gruel. You're like a vegetarian that can't eat a grass-fed steak. You can't absorb okay? Milk for babes, meat for strong men. You ever heard that expression? Yep. Milk for babes, meat for strong men. So, milk is, like meat for strong men is, part of the population is dead. For babes, it's, hey, he's just a little unmotivated. Because it's too hard to look at. There's certain brutal truths about the world that are too scary to look at, okay? When you think 2020, it's too scary to think what that was. You're not able to look at it. It's too scary. You're like, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. It's too scary. So a big thing in life too is learning how to look at things that are scary, but also learning how to look at things that are beautiful. Also learning how to have initiative. Also learning how to be inspired. Also learning how to not be demoralized. Also learning how to not allow yourself to be demoralized, but to how to prevent other people from getting demoralized. How amazing is this country? Awesome. Greatest country in the world. Fuck yeah. Greatest country in the world. How great are the people here? Amazing. How much potential do we have? Unlimited potential. Unlimited potential. What happens if this place in freedom goes down? The world goes down. Do you understand that? The world goes down. We go down, the world goes down. Do you understand that? There's so much potential here. There's no reason to be demoralized. But if we keep going the way we're going, there's good reason to be demoralized. Okay? Don't let them steal your fucking soul from you. Don't let them get you to where you can't even walk down a fucking park and enjoy the park because you're looking at your phone. Resist the plebeian mind. Fight it. Actively fight it. View it as the enemy. Learn to transmute it. But you know what's crazy about the devil? You can't beat the devil by fighting the devil. The devil's like Godzilla. You fight it, what happens to it? Yeah, so you have to turn behind you, take out the sword, slice through the fabric of reality, and allow the light of the unmanifest to become manifest, and it will vaporize it. And then what will happen is like this big scary monster will vaporize into a baby. And you will pick up the baby, and you will see that life for the first time. It was never a monster. It was an innocent little baby that was filled with pain and filled with trauma and then medicated itself and then tried to fill you with pain so that you would medicate yourself. But you can't attack that creature. You have to go to God and allow that light to come through and allow them to be healed and allow yourself to be healed so that you're not stuck there anymore. So that when you look at an Alex Ramosi book, which is not a perfect book, it has things that I don't like in it, but you can look at a book like that that shows you things to make your life better, and then you can go and actually apply it. But again, every single one of you in here should be like, here's like the last 900 marketing books that I read. Here's the last 900 sales books that I read. Here's the last 900 health and nutrition books that I read. Here's the last 900 things on social skills that I worked on or did or course that I watched. Here's all the action that I took. Here's the amount of money that I have saved up. Here's the different things that I'm trying. Here's why I didn't get sick for fucking 10 years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's where you should be at. But instead, you're not. And you're just watching and consuming all this shit. And what the shit does is it poisons you. It poisons your soul. And it's like the devil. It's good on the front end and hurts you on the back end. Feels great as it goes in, but takes away your awareness and your consciousness on the way out. And you can visibly see the unconsciousness in people's faces. I can look at every single one of you in here, and I will know how conscious you are with about a 90, 95 degree accuracy just by your pupils. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to recommend to you guys to learn how to see it in others. I'll tell you another thing about it too. The Bible gives you solutions. It's all in the Bible. The Gospels. Look it up. And one of the biggest things, like, there's this one girl I'm friends with, and you know, she says, how do I get rid of my low vibe energy? She's so desperate to get rid of her low vibe energy. But whenever I talk to her, you know who she's mostly thinking about? Herself. She thinks about me a little bit too. But she thinks a lot about herself and what she's not getting and what's being withheld from her. Well, as a result of that, what does that do to her energy? What does giving do? Giving allows you to get out of the reptilian circuitry and to get into proactivity. It goes against your nature to give. So giving goes against your nature. Helping an enemy goes against your nature. So when you actually go help an enemy, do you remember when I was joking about earlier where I said you have, I'm saying this as a joke just to fuck with you, okay? I say things that are not true oftentimes to fuck with you, okay? Why would I say something not true to fuck with you as opposed to just telling you straight? Why would I do that?
Makes a point.
It's to make a point. It's also to get you to think, right? If I say pull a sword out and cut a hole in reality and shrink a baby, that's going to get you thinking more than if I just give it to you explicitly. okay? So if I use words like aggressive words like plebeian nature, that's not meant to go, it's plebeian nature. That's meant to be a seed of a lot of your own further thought process. Is it a plebeian nature? What is a plebeian? Is he joking? Is he serious? Does he really think people are plebs? He seems like he tried to help. Why would he say that? What is a plebeian? Am I a plebeian? What does he mean people are dead? I'm trying to instigate your own thinking, not just give you the answer. Okay, that's why the Bible is so great. That's why the Gospels are so great, because he speaks in parables. So you have to lean into it. The Tao Te Ching is so great because you have to lean into it. The Tao Te Ching, one page, should take you about half an hour, even though it's one page, because you're supposed to think about it. So the thought that is, and it's not just giving you the answers, it's getting you to come to it and to own it. It's not just, the Bible's not just for me. It's not just for you. It's for everybody to come into their own experience of the Bible. So, right, the Tao Te Ching is meant for you to come into your own experience of it. You're going to read it differently than I would. You're going to get from it what's meant for you, like the Oracle in the Matrix, right? Everyone's going to get a different thing out of it. So, so if I say something shocking, like, if I say the plebeian nature, look, I love all people. I don't think people are plebeians. But if I say that, it's to get you thinking, each one of you is gonna take that differently based on your experience and how you're meant to take it. So, okay, I don't think it's actually bad if you ski on a weekend and not Wednesday, okay? But I'm gonna say fucked up things like that to make you think, wait a minute, I never even thought of that. Like, wait a sec, Right, I'm just trying to get you thinking. What I'm trying to get at here is you should be addicted to your own expansion, okay? And as far as giving, that is breaking the reptilian nature. The problem is, as long as you're in your animalistic nature of consume, 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 they can get you. They can get you. Because you're like, me. Like, you guys ever heard me do that little joke where I say it's the me show? I go, me, it's me, me, right? Like that. That's how your inner dialogue's going. What am I getting? How does this affect me? You're not thinking, how do I help everybody else? Well, by saying, how do I help everybody else, it's the same vibe as maybe when you go into a really hot sauna, but you stay in. It's the same vibe as when you go into a cold plunge and you stay in. Not, you don't want to make yourself sick, but stay in for the amount that you can that makes sense. Maybe you do a really, really hard hike. Like when I do a really, really hard hike, say Kalalau Trail with my kids, that's not actually fun, guys. Okay, it's gorgeous, it's stunning, but it sucks. Okay, you're hurt, you're covered in blisters, pain. Dylan collapsed on it. Okay, people might say, to Dylan when he's older, oh, you had a spoiled upbringing. Were you collapsing in exhaustion because your dad dragged you along the side of cliffs? So no, he's exhausted. I'm exhausted. Why do we pay money to go do an exhausting, brutal, grueling hike? What do you get out of that? Experience? You're expanding, you're defeating the reptilian nature, the animalistic nature. Right? You get a different kind of a high off of it. You're like, look, you ever have it where maybe you go to a bar or club and you're gonna go talk to everybody, and just the mere act that you made yourself do it, you get more of a high off that than if you hooked up with somebody. You ever experience that? You're like, I broke out of my bullshit fucking nature. I broke out of this bullshit. I am controlling myself now. Not just my autopilot's controlling me. Right? When you go out and you're like trying to go meet people and you're too scared, it's because you're asleep. You're like in this trance. You're basically in a trance of like, I'm not high stats enough to be allowed to do this. My ego will be hurt if they don't accept me. I'm too tired to do this. I want to go home. It's too much. Plus, I'm not good looking rich enough, right? It's this loop that you're in where you're not taking control of yourself. That was how I learned all this stuff was from approaching, by the way. All this knowledge that I give you guys, the base level was from all the years of approaching. Because I knew that to get amazing at it, I was going to have it to where I could go out, be in state, be in the zone, and effortlessly and fluidly just go meet everybody with no fear and total enthusiasm. So I had to train myself to do that for many, many years. So what I'm trying to get you guys thinking about is when you look in other people's eyes, what do you see in the pupils? That is the #1 thing that you should care about. That billionaire guy who backed down, a near billionaire guy who backed down from his awakening, he chose to go back to the jail. It's like in the movie The Matrix when the guy is eating the steak and he decides to go back in the Matrix, even though he's out of the Matrix. So the question that you should ask yourself is, do you want real freedom? Do you want real awakening? Or do you just want a better fucking deal? What are you looking for? Because me, fuck being enslaved. Do you understand? Fuck slavery in any form. Fuck every obstacle. Fuck them. Fuck every obstacle. Fuck any form of slavery. Fuck any form of an obstacle. Fuck any form of fear. Do you understand? That's like how I'm thinking about it. They all go down. If you have a fear, that should be pointing at you saying, go there. Go there. That's what I would teach my kids. You're scared? Then go do it. That's fear should be called, come over here. A challenge should be called, come over here. Not because, guys, I made a decent amount of money in my life. Money's not even that great. Okay? I was hooking up with probably one of the hottest women of my life all week, okay? So much sex. I mean, good God, okay? So much sex. And, okay? So much sex. And you want to know something? As soon as you come, post-nut clarity kicks in, and you're just sitting there like a fucking derper covered in your own fucking jizz. Okay? You're still not out of the jail. The real beauty of getting rich and the real beauty of getting better socially is what it calls upon you to do to get there, which means that you have to get out of the jail. A lot of the guys, even that guy that was in the jail, the near billionaire guy, he did it with venture capital. Here's what he doesn't even realize. Remember I said earlier that there's like, the problem right now is not that it's too hard to make money, it's that it's too easy. This guy doesn't realize he's getting lobbed softballs. He's getting lobbed softballs. He's hitting a softball out of the park, and he's thinking he thinks he's fucking Babe Ruth. Okay? He's in a system with AI monitoring every phone call, and with a consumer culture brainwashing and venture capital that picks things that further creates unconsciousness. His product does create unconsciousness. It wasn't some organic product that helps people to be healthier. So he thinks he's this visionary entrepreneur. He's still a slave of the system. Even as a near billionaire, he's still a slave of the system. He hit a softball at the park. He goes, I'm winning. I get a gold medal. Wow, wow. But he didn't fight the system, right? He just fed in the system. He fed in the system, right? Someone like a Hollywood celebrity who's making satanic music videos, they're like, wow, I made it big. No, you didn't. You got lobbed a softball. You're not motherfucking Babe Ruth. You got lobbed a softball. And I know these people because I live in LA. And they come to my parties sometimes. And they're often very, very spiritually broken. Listen to the pain in Bieber's voice. The pain. Deep, deep, deep abiding pain. Wow. Look what happened to him and his wife. As far as they had all these health issues. Because they believed in the system. And so, you know, I see Bieber at Vodaspa all the time. Incredibly nice guy. But look at his pain. So, is that really the answer? No, that's not the answer. Okay, there's an overarching picture of life of what you're doing here. Okay, so here's a couple key pieces to get out of the pleb mindset. We'll kind of leave it here. Number one, you can tell where somebody's at by looking in their eyes. That's the first thing. Right in the fucking eyes, you know where they're at, okay? Immediately you know where they're at. That's the first thing I want to tell you. You can rapidly tell where someone's at by looking in their pupils. Begin to learn how to tell that. I don't mean to make you guys all insecure like that, okay? But begin to tell that. You can tell by what they resonate with. You can tell by their ability for sustained focus. All that stuff. You can sense it by that, okay? So that would be one thing. Start to look at that. Another thing is, understand that the system is designed to grease the skids of your selfishness and laziness. And it's meant to put you on autopilot, and it's meant to make you numb. So in effect, you're in a, okay, a couple of nuances here. You're in a permanent light level trauma state. So look, if we go quiet right now, okay, right now you're hearing my voice, right? Let's go dead quiet and hear all the weird ass noises in the room right now that you're not gonna hear unless you pay attention. So be quiet for a sec and listen to all the weird ass noises. Now, I don't know how well that'll pick up on the mic, But is that not a lot of noise? Listen to how much noise there is, ambient noise. Out there, here, here. How much ambient noise is that? Is that kind of weird to realize you didn't even tune into that? That's your trauma. That is an ambient trauma that's there all the time. It's there so much, and at a certain point, it breaks you. You don't realize this. You're broken. It breaks you. And what happens to some people when they're really dealing with a lot of trauma is they actually, it gets so bad, they have to partition it. They actually find a part of their brain they're unconscious to, they partition it over there, and they have amnesia towards it. They actually create pockets of amnesia. And if you try to talk to them about it, they can become very defensive. They get upset. You can't actually even talk to them because they're that traumatized. That's how bad it gets. You can study things like BPD or NPD and see where that can happen, okay? So they create entire false selves. They can get so much trauma that their core self dies. The core self inside the person dies. And what happens is that they get like, almost like I'm missing an ACL. I don't have an ACL on my left knee. And my muscles kind of build around it. And I get like a fake ACL basically, that it's like an adapted ACL. Sometimes we get so traumatized when we're younger that the self commits suicide. This is actually real. Wow. Yeah, this is not my woo-woo stuff. This is modern psychiatry and psychotherapy. So the core self dies, and then other matrices of self build around it. And that's where NPD can come from as well, because the core self died, and so what happened was that they create a grandiose self around it. And that self will take no negative feedback because it's like we have to protect that dead, entombed self, little baby that's stuck inside that we could never even get access to because it's protecting. It's so much in protection that it won't even let you have access to the self. You can learn, these are very extreme examples, borderline or NPD, very, very extreme. But you can learn a lot about the lighter version that we all have by studying this kind of stuff. We all have light level versions where, like, those mechanics of the mind, that would just be the far end of a spectrum, but those mechanics can function, in all of us to varying degrees. So that thing where you see where the person's asleep, realize that they've been massaged into becoming kind of a consumer zombie. They're disconnected from being present to the moment. They're disconnected from God, okay? So that the antenna to God has been, this is just my personal opinion, has been cut off. So now that that antenna has been cut off, what do you have left? Drugs, alcohol, consumer culture, autopilot, numb. They also don't have a sense of identity. They don't know who they are beyond the tribe. So even when you talk to them, their mind is not seeking accuracy. Big insight here. Their mind is not seeking accuracy. Their mind is seeking consensus reality. Their mind is seeking consensus reality because they think that if they just repeat back to the tribe what will get them consensus, that will make them safe, that if they just believe that, they'll be safe. So it takes a very, very confident person to be able to strive to see reality accurately. Not to mention to get past your own damn ego of where you fucked up. So there's a huge amount of disincentives to see reality accurately, right? There really is. You ever have friends where you're like trying to show them something, they just can't see it? Yeah. Ask yourself where your version of that is too. Don't judge the chip in your brother's eye when you have a plank in your own eye. It's one of the biggest keys statements in the Sermon on the Mount. Okay? So understand that there's God's wisdom is coming to you, and you can tap in that. That's not me sitting here as a guru going, I have God's wisdom. That's not me saying that. That's me saying that you all have access to that. I'm not some saint or prophet. I'm a regular guy. That's what's so cool. You don't have to be a saint or a prophet to be able to tap into God. You don't have to be this holy being. You are already a holy being. You're sentient life in a galaxy where we can't even see any other life, sitting here on Earth, right? But all that you're thinking to yourself is like, well, how do I fit in the system? How do I like get the trinkets of the system? You're being frame controlled. Do you understand that? You're being actively frame controlled into living on their life. They're frame controlling you. But now the inmates are putting each other in check. And you're frame controlling each other. So these were all things that I had to figure out because when I was learning social skills, one of the biggest things was learning how to not be on autopilot, learning how not to be affected by other people's halo effects, not to be intimidated by anybody, to be in control of myself, and to control my own state. So that is another one that I want to show you, is the capacity to control your own state. By the way, As long as you have the belief that you can't control your own state, you don't realize how much power you're missing, right? Like, you don't realize that. You can make yourself, okay, I always joke about this. If you can give yourself a hand job until you come, you can control your own state. Okay? You're giving yourself your own gay autoerotic hand job until you ejaculate. But you can't control your own state? Really? What are you doing when you masturbate to make yourself come? You're thinking, maybe, I'm fucking a pussy, I'm fucking a pussy, I'm fucking a pussy, right? You're doing that, right? You're looping on that until you come. I mean, that is very hardcore. That is some serious state control. To make yourself bust a nut with your own hand? With this? I mean, shit, son. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. But yet, I'm depressed. You're not depressed, bro. Right? Some dude's sitting there fapping in his bed all day. That dude ain't depressed. That guy's got amazing state control. 10 out of 10 state control. Just fapping all day. 10 out of 10 state control. He just using it for the wrong thing. He's using that state control to bust some nuts. Right? You should be using that state control to bust some nuts over some Alex Hormozy. Am I wrong? Right? Bust some nuts over a large, muscular man with a nose ring thing. That's the real win. Right?
And then teaching others how to do it.
Yeah. That's the way. Seminar over. Okay. So what I'm saying is, bust some nuts over Hormozy. Yeah, it's like, no, but look, you can bust a nut. You all gotta bust some nuts. But when you're done, you know, you cleaned up, you're in post-nut clarity, that's when the real work begins. And so that's where you say to yourself, you know, now I'm gonna go to TikTok? Like, first you bust some nuts, then you start scrolling, then you start eating some potato chips, then you smoke a joint. I mean, it sounds like a hell of a Saturday night. Fuck, what am I even teaching this seminar, man? Maybe the system's not that bad. I mean, to be fair, is that a bad Saturday night? I don't even think that's a bad Saturday night. I mean, that's why this shit's so good, right? Again, they remember I told you they improved the deal? They improved the slave deal? That's not a bad deal. You got porn. You got some damn good hand cream. Hand cream's better than ever right now. You got some weed. You got the internet. You got TikTok. I mean, what else do you need?
4K.
What's that?
4K.
Yeah, it's in 4K. We demand 8K. You got the high THC weed. You got the super potent social media. I mean, shit, soon we're gonna have the Metaverse. You're gonna be busting nuts in the Metaverse. Right? The slave deal's better than ever. Even as I'm saying this, I'm like, what have I been talking about the last several hours? This is all we should be doing. Go home, bust some nuts, smoke some weed. I'm like, what are we even talking about here? Like, why didn't someone stop me and tell me I'm looking fucking stupid? This was a better plan. I'm not even joking. I'm going home. Fuck Dylan's trip. Okay? You see what I'm saying with this, right? Like that's how it gets you. It seduces you in because you don't have to. It's just easier. It's just fucking easier. But it's not easier because they kill you. Because they kill you. That's where they get you. You die because the cancer, the heart disease, all the shit they put in you, all the poison, and all that stuff. And I mean, given the behavior that we're seeing from these motherfuckers, the behavior that we've already been seeing, what direction is this going? Is this really going in a positive direction? No, it's not. So, not likely. So, what I would say to you guys is consciousness is the key to it, okay? Consciousness. So, that awakening process. So, the way that I recommend, like the kind of angle that I like to take with this is I like to begin with proactivity. That's how I like to start. Proactivity. So, what does it mean to begin with proactivity? Well, I think what it could mean is beginning to design your own life. So you remember with Dylan when he's going up and down here and he's designing his own trip? That's a starting point for him. That is him learning the process of like, wait a minute, I'm on God's earth. I want to see God's creation. I've got to plan it out. I've got to use logistics. I've got to use my fucking brain. And he's beginning to plan it. So he's learning how to do that at a young age. Who knows what he'll do with it as an adult? His potential's unlimited, but that's on him, right? Do you guys notice that Dylan is his own man completely? Is he a clone of me? Not even 1%, is he? Not even 1% a clone of me. That was so important for me, that he's his own man. Right? Is he intimidated by me? No, we clown each other. Right? I'll let him win a lot. You guys notice that? I let him win? Yeah, let him win, right? I tell him to let his younger brother win. He's like, you know, beating up his younger brother. I'm like, yo, let him fucking win, Dylan. I let you win all the time. He's like, okay. They don't beat each other up hard. They just play fight. But like, you know, it's one of these things where he's his own man. He's beginning to engage and to be proactive. Now, as we go down this path then, what I want to start seeing from you guys is proactivity. That's what I want to see. Look, I don't really care where you go, what you do, who you fuck, or how much money you make. I don't care. Some people will be more, some people will be less. It doesn't really matter ultimately. What matters is your awakening. So a beginning part of that process is proactivity. Like, what do I even want? What do I even want? So I'm always writing down things that I want for me. And then I'm writing things down I want for others. Right? So what do I want to create for myself? What do I want to create for my for most of you guys, future family? Right? I brought my kids in here to inspire you a little bit to think about your future family. So what I want for me, what I want for my future family, what I want is a legacy for the world. You know, I love doing free tours. So I wanted to be able to do free videos and free tours as long as I could. That didn't happen on its own. How much proactivity has to happen for us to be having this event here?
A lot. Tremendous.
It's a shit. It's okay. You gotta want it, right? There's one of my favorite Alaska videos is from Gates the Arctic National Park. It's one of the places that I visited. So basically, like, I'll show you like the start of the video. Let's see.
The gates of the Arctic National Park is the definition of remote. Situated entirely above the Arctic Circle, it contains no roads or trails. Just staggering wilderness, full of truly wild things. To get here, you gotta want it bad.
Yeah, and that's what I like. To get here, you gotta want it bad, right? And I went there, okay? It's awesome. I got the videos from it. I shot video blogs out there. So you gotta want it bad. So in other words, that's the same as this. You know what I mean, right? Like you gotta want it bad. The problem is you don't actually want it. I gotta be honest with you. Here's why. You don't resonate with it. You don't resonate with it. If you really, really, really resonate with success, you would have read every damn market. Okay, you would have all, but you know my program, Blueprint Reloaded? Who here has been through that? Okay, for those of you guys that went through it, how many of you guys actually watched the whole damn thing so far, or a lot of it? Okay, how much money-making content is in there?
Oh, it's been many years.
No, that was, oh, sorry. That was Blueprint Decoded. Oh, so yeah, I have another one called Blueprint Reloaded that I put out. Okay, who here has actually seen the new one that I did, which is all about pragmatic stuff? It's called Blueprint Reloaded.
The first one?
No, it's a recent one. Very recent. Nobody here's even seen it. I got to promote it. You've seen it.
I'm going through it now.
Okay, and you've seen it too? How much stuff on how to stack papers in there?
A lot.
How much?
It's a lot on marketing, on how to really just like have your energy there so people can actually want to buy something.
Yep, got it. How about, what would you say about it?
Yeah, from what I've seen so far, a lot.
Great. So the thing is, if you guys were serious, you would have been watching that shit. You would have been going through it. You'd be rewatching it. You would have been sitting there making sales ads, marketing pieces. You would have been doing that all day. Would I want to make money? Here's what I did. Okay, so I went and did in-field work 21, 22, 23, 24. Went out like a fucking maniac. Did my whole career by the way. Still go out now. By the way, better than ever in the field now. A lot of people will be surprised about it. Like 44, better than ever? So much better than ever. So going out like a fucking maniac. Now, I hit a point where I'm like, okay, I built the business as far as I can take this on its own. Also, the Neil Strauss book came out. Then I said to myself, I got to study marketing. So I moved to Oahu, Waikiki, a little bit outside Waikiki in Oahu. I got an oceanfront apartment, and I sat there for about 3 years, whatever it was, all day long, reading and writing sales ads. So all day, all I would do is I'd go get sales ads, read them. Now here's the big thing with me that nobody else does. This is the $1 million secret that nobody else does. Everybody studies marketing pieces, but it's just in one ear, out the other. Like, okay, who here's ever read like Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand? Okay, if I were to ask you the course of events in Atlas Shrugged, how much could you actually remember? You probably remember the speech at the end. You remember like the valley in Colorado where they fly into. You remember that that weird stuff was happening at the start. And they're saying what's the name of the guy who they say who is what?
John.
Look at that. He read 1,500 pages, and it took him a minute to remember the guy's last name is Galt. And I'd be no different. I couldn't remember either. Okay? 1,500 pages. We're like, who is John Reardon? Right? We can't even remember who it is, right? It's the joke in Atlas Shrugged is they keep going, who is John Galt, as like an expression. Okay? Then you meet John Galt late, and he gives this big speech. And like, what do you even remember out of the John Galt speech, which is huge?
Like nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Right? It's like, take action or something. Don't be a communist. Right? Like some shit like that, right? So the thing is, it's like, so what I always do that's different, and the same reason I do infield trainings, what I always do that's different is if I'm reading sales ads, I write them out, then I memorize, so I'll spend 2-3 hours writing them out, then I will memorize the ad, then I will stand up and I will speak out the ad to the people that are around me, whatever girl I'm seeing or guy friends, whatever, okay? Or staff. So now what I've done is I've memorized the sales ad. I've memorized the structure of the sales ad. So I would do that for the same reason that I went out, because I realized that watching video is not going to help me unless I go out. Same exact thought process. So by doing that, I was able to master direct response marketing within 3 years. What do you think that does for your life if you master direct response marketing in 3 years? What do you think that does? I did my first $2 million by age 26. Okay? So any of you could have done it. Any of you could have done it. Any of you. Just like when I started going out, I improved my dating life, I started dating top tier people from a young age. Any of you could have done it. Any of you could have learned it. You just didn't want to. When I read Eckhart Tolle, I meditated and meditated and meditated all the time, every day. People read The Power now, they just think they're going to fucking Disneyland. That's not some shit you just read and go, I read The Power of Now. He says, be present. Be present. Be present. So if he says that, do it. Don't just read it, do it. Yeah.
This is the 18-hour learn a new skill set I'm talking about.
It was.
For 3 years.
But here's the point. I had to go through that pain. Yeah. See, I wasn't ready. See, bro, thanks for bringing it up. I have videos of this. In 2006, I go to meet John Carlton. I paid him money for a program that I went to. And he gave me a shitload of advice. And I looked so dark and demonic in my eyes when he gave me the feedback, because I was like, it was like a fucking demon was coming up. I was like, why? And I know I'm being filmed. So I'm like, I look so weird right now. I look all weird. And then I actually asked him, I said, hey, would you mind taking my part out of your product because I look so weird in it? Because what was happening was he was giving me advice that would have taken me out of pain, and I didn't want to hear it. And so while I did some of the things that he taught me, I couldn't do most of it because I wasn't ready. So that's exactly what I was saying, right? I wasn't ready to do it. So in other words, the 18-hour-a-day thing is within the paradigm that you don't know how money works. Within the paradigm that you know how money works is different. Like when I went through the recession in 2008, that was not a recession. That wasn't a recession. I worked around the clock for years in hell. With what I know now, I could have beat that thing in an afternoon. So, you know what's funny? When COVID hit, and it shut down my whole company, and it fucked me super bad, you know what I did? I said, wow, I'm super fucked. Like, I am super fucked. I said, what would make this easy to save my business? Because imagine, right? By the way, I made a video when COVID came out, and I'm like, it's no big deal, guys, it's gonna be fine. And everyone's like, oh, easy for you to say. I'm like, really? I run a company with the word social in it. In an era of social distancing, I can't run seminars, I can't do trainings. What are you talking about? This is gonna suck. So what I did was, I gutted out the existing business. I was in a lot of debt because I didn't realize we were going to go down so hard. Gutted out the business. And then I created new systems that operated off of only 30% the revenue needs that were twice as profitable. And I did it within a month. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to go start taking 10 months off a year. And then I did that. That was after near bankruptcy because I went for what was easier. And that's what people don't understand. I do less views now. How much less are my views now than 10 years ago? And yet, now you see me running around rich as fuck, living in better cribs, better jewelry, better everything. How do I have more money when I have less views? Why do I even not even care about views? What's going on?
Better offers.
I just understand business better. I understand better how business works. Because when you're in trouble like that, that's not the time to try harder. That's the time to try less. Wow. That's the time to be like, because that's where hard work's not going to bail you out. There is no hard work solution, right? I couldn't work my way out of that. So I went, whoa, 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 pump the brakes. I got to find an easy solution. So that's what I did. Now, by the way, that's how I started doing the one-on-ones with the rich guys. That was one of the things I found. I'm like, well, is there a top 0.1% of my list that I haven't tapped into? There probably is. Sure enough, guys making 800 mil, 600 mil, 200 mil, billion plus, boom, 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 boom. All became my clients because they're bored. I'd be out in national parks with a satellite phone, chatting them up. It was great. But again, you have to be ready for that kind of success. You have to be okay with it. You have to be okay with success. If there's a relationship with giving and receiving. Most people are not, like when you sit with that guy who's a billionaire, you calmly sit with him and you calmly let him know your rate. What that tells him is that you have a relationship to receiving. If you have a relationship to receiving, what else does that say about you? It means that you're probably a pretty high level guy. Most people don't have a healthy relationship to giving and they don't have a healthy relationship to receiving. It's unhealthy. Do any of you guys feel that in yourself?
Yeah.
Unhealthy relationship to giving, unhealthy relationship to receiving. So you have to get yourself to a place where that's actually healthy. And that takes time, right? But when you know your value, that is where you can have a high-end client. And the high-end client only wants to work with somebody who knows their value, right? Likewise, if you're dating someone who's very attractive, they only want to be with somebody who knows their value. But you also have a good relationship to giving, because otherwise you're a fucking taker. So, me doing an event like this is my relationship to giving. So I like to give a lot as well. So I like to always be moving energy. I like to be giving. I like to be receiving. But yeah, the skill sets, definitely there's power in doing it. But there's ways to get money right now. And then from there, you can also build skill sets for the joy of it. I'm here to work on my public speaking skill set further, even though I've been doing it for years. I do free social speaking while I'm here. I'm just making bits and shaping them for fun right in front of you. This is not a planned speech, right? I come in here, I read the room, what I think the room needs, and I start shaping bits out of it. But what if I were to challenge you guys right now to say, what are easy ways to make money that are right in front of you that you're not even looking at? How many of you guys, when you see someone who you'd like to date, they just walk by and you do nothing? They walk by, you do nothing, right? Because to do something, you'd be breaking your success barrier and you'd be breaking your autopilot and you'd be threatening your ego, right? So what I'm trying to show you guys is higher paradigm ways of thinking and ways to begin to wake yourself up. Now, by the way, I don't think just getting rich or getting a bunch of social success or anything like that is the top of the mountain at all. I think there's things beyond that. Actually, if you want to know my real opinion is that you made it. You know you made it to the top of the mountain when they kill you. But y'all aren't ready for that. So, yeah. But I also believe that's when you transcend as well. So the thing is but what I'm saying is, I'm trying to meet you where you're at and what your next steps are. Your next steps right now are to, become like Jesus on the cross and be crucified or something. That's kind of weird, right? So I'm not suggesting that. But what I'm saying is just that there's far greater levels than this, but you're here now, I believe karmically, to experience these levels. So I'm trying to show you guys what I learned along the road of these levels. What I was learning, I wanted success. So I went out every day. I wanted success, so I studied marketing. By the way, I wanted success, so I did product launches. Just doing product launches means that you want to learn via the process, right? You're like, no, I want to, you don't, it's not just about doing one product launch and quitting. It's about doing launch after 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 launch and learning from each launch and seeing what went wrong. Because by the way, a lot of what's going to go wrong is going to be like some stupid bullshit is what's going to go wrong, right? Little small bullshit. Oh, the website didn't upload the font properly. Dumb shit like that. That's not as like woo-woo and grand as what we're talking about here. Pragmatic stuff. A lot of really annoying pragmatic stuff. So, and by the way, you're not going to see that till you do it. Look, it's like the first time that you go out to meet somebody. You met each other, you like each other, you're going home together, and then the friend comes and goes, Susie, like that, and then it just fucks it all up. That's going to happen when you go out. You can't read that out of a book. You've got to have that happen a couple hundred times at minimum, if not thousands, to begin to see how to navigate all the little bullshit that comes up. Even planning trips. Did you notice that when Dylan was doing a speech about planning trips, half of what he talked about was all the shit that he's realizing will go wrong? Do you see that? Yeah. This went wrong, that went wrong, the other thing went wrong. He's clowning me about the schedule because I put like one little wrong thing, so he likes to tease me about it. That's like me and him fucking with each other. But the thing is, you see how he was learning, yeah, even though we have a plan, all these things are going to come up that are going to fuck it up. So he's learning that at a very young age. I'm trying to help him to understand that. Maybe he was fucking president someday or something. He's got to understand, yeah, best laid plans, motherfucker. Best laid fucking plans will get fucked up. So he's got to, I want him to understand that from a young age, that like it's not all going to work out perfect. It's usually going to work out like 70% of what you thought at best, and that's with all the fuck ups. So you've got to, understand that and engage with it, right? Do you guys also understand that like a high level person to work with is almost impossible to find? Because the average person is spaced out. The average person does not take total ownership of situations. The average person also isn't trying to grow their skill set. And the average person is not going to do what they say they're going to do because they're too spaced out and they hate themselves. They don't even do right by themselves. How can they do right by others? If you can't do right by yourself, how can you do right for another person? So what winds up happening is, as an example, by Dylan learning all these little logistical things, and then so this is hilarious, but like, this is kind of funny. We were in DC, and he had a plan, right? Now, have you guys heard about the panda wars and panda diplomacy? This is the dumbest thing you've ever fucking heard. So because of rising tensions between China and America, much like a girl who, becomes withholding because maybe she wants to show you she's annoyed, China is taking away their pandas.
Oh, no.
Now, oh yeah. So almost all of them are gone. And so, now they may be coming back a bit, that's what he's mentioning, but they've been on the way out. And so what happens, so apparently we get our, I mean, this is some bullshit. Okay, do you guys understand that we basically get our pandas on loan from China? Couldn't one motherfucker have like found a fucking panda from China like in the 1800s, bred it and made it where we have our own panda? We don't have to lease the fucking pandas and fucking Xiping, okay? So anyway, the fuck's going on there?
China Gate.
Yeah, fucking Panda Gate, right? There you go. This is all real. This is real, guys. I can't even make this shit up. This is how fucked we are, okay? So now we're having to send back all our fucking pandas to China. Again, talk about apathy. We just let this shit happen. We should be like, fuck you, we're not sending you back the fucking panda. Come get the fucking panda, motherfucker. What the hell are we doing? So, okay, this is supposed to be America, and we can't even have a panda. What the fuck are we doing? So the thing is ever heard of the word no? No! Give us back our panda. No! Okay? So anyway, so now Dylan makes the plan to go see this. We're in DC, and it happens to be the last day that the panda is going to be there in DC. The only other one left is in Atlanta. And he goes there, and he plans to get in, like, I think it was maybe 4, but he doesn't realize that you have to get in a little bit early, right? So he's learning about this stuff, about how it's not exactly how you think. So he goes there, he can't get in, but all these other kids couldn't get in, and so now you have all these crying kids that are never going to get to see a panda. There's like hundreds of crying kids that didn't get let in up till 4, all going, panda! And they're all reinforcing the crying to each other, like, the panda! Right, like the motherfuckers back in China are like, hey, right? We told you, don't fuck with us. Okay? So the thing is, yeah, I love Chinese people, but we ain't giving back the panda. So anyway, so the thing is, you know, like if this was the 1800s, man, we're not giving back that panda. Like what the fuck has happened to us? Okay, what the fuck? So anyway, so, but he had to learn that, right? That's like simple little lessons like that is actually very, very, very powerful, right? So many of the lessons are like, write everything down, set 10 alarms, create mastermind groups, go get mentors, go travel, you know, notice all the different chains of cause and effect that, you know, oh, like for example, a simple one, maybe I'll talk about this next, like in another segment, you get the wrong girlfriend, she gets bitchy, you fuck up, you go broke. How many guys here relate to that? Right? She's making drama at home, you are a little bit late for work, you get in trouble with the people that you work with, you don't do as good of a job, you make less cash, et cetera, et cetera. By the way, for me to get really, really good in my infield work, I actually, because I like just became obsessed for so many decades, I realized like a lot of what I do in the field is affected by what I do at home. Right? It's like, how's life going outside of this? So I started looking at everything I'm doing at home. Right? Not to mention, like, how are you even doing in between interactions? Right? Are you having fun in between interactions? Right? It's not just like you're this, like, you know, and then you see someone you like, you go. Like I call that marionette mode. So, right? You're not this marionette being pulled up when you see someone you like. Well, how good is your life outside of that? So these are other things you think of. So are you guys beginning to get from this sort of my perspective of life? I'm trying to do some broad strokes. I use the free events to do these kind of broad stroke, free associative rants to give you a sense of like how I see life, okay? So a lot of what I teach are things like wealth building courses. I do a lot on social skills training courses, but I have a certain approach, which is basically a combination of very, 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 very proactive, combined with very, 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 very awake, off of autopilot, and the big one, I want it to be very, 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 very easy. But when I say easy, I'm talking like on some Aikido shit. You know, right? Like you go to the opponent, and you just go tap them and they just die. Okay? It's like, bink, like that. You know, it's like on some Master Yoda type shit. That's what I'm on. I'm on some Master Yoda type shit. That's what I like. You know?
You just need the cane.
Yeah, I just want the cane and just use the force. I'm on like some use the force type shit. You know? That's who I like. I was always inspired by Master Yoda, guys like that. Right? Professor X. Just like, you just see the situation, like everything's all fucked up, you just come in, you're just like, and everything just fixed. Okay? But you can get there. You can actually get to that point. You have capacities that are like that. And look, my whole life won't be like that, right? I'll fuck up at certain points. I'll probably be very brutally publicly humiliated for what a loudmouth I've been at some point. We all know that. Come on, my time's limited. We all know that, right? You don't get to pop off like this free of charge. Okay? The bill is coming. And it'll be pretty embarrassing. It'll be bad. Okay? We all know that. You don't just get to pop off, right? But I'm living my life while I've got it. So what I'm trying to hammer to you guys, and by the way, why do I pop off like this? Is it for me? I mean, in certain spiritual ways, I guess, but who's it for? It's for you. Look, every generation, some dumb motherfucker's got to pop off so that that generation can snap out of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, some dumb motherfucker's got to pop off and just be like, you know what? Do what you want to me. Fuck you. Here's what the fuck you guys are doing. Here's what's going on. But the question is, are you going to take that or are you going to do something with it and make that sacrifice worth it, or are you going to be passive? Okay? Is what I would say to you. So, again, we're starting off at fundamentals and at basics. You don't get to spiritually bypass. You don't get to skip. We begin by looking at your life and planning and building off of proactivity. Because being proactive means that you're awake. When I take Dylan to go see all this stuff, it is not to do with him needing to see. I don't think my children need to go, oh, look, I looked in a whale book, and then I go, we're going to go see whales. I don't think that my kids are going to, like, starve to death if they don't see a fucking real whale. My 5-year-old probably doesn't even remember the fucking real whale at this point. Given the choice, he'd probably rather watch Skippity Toilet, for any of you guys who know what that is. It's a toilet that talks and goes psychotic. It actually goes completely psychotic. I can't make this up. I cannot make this up. It's called Skibbity. It's called Skibbity Toilet. And the song goes skibbity, 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 and then the toilet goes and goes all fucking crazy. And then the kids start fucking dancing and go fucking nuts. Okay? He'd probably be just as happy to watch Skibbity Toilet and go fucking berserk. Look this shit up. I cannot make this up. I'll look it up for you. All right? Like, you want to see you think all the fucking goofy ass shit that we were watching was bad? Like,
do we have to, Dad?
Yeah. Like, this is like, I mean, I don't know what fucking genius made this shit up. Yeah, it's literally see, it's like a fucking toilet, like in like a post-apocalyptic like world.
It's like Thomas the Train.
And it's like a toilet, like in a post-apocalyptic world, and it starts singing and goes crazy. Yeah, the kids watch this and they're like, yeah, yeah. This is what the kids are watching, guys. Quite the party. Okay, so I'm trying to show you guys the toilet. You guys see like the guy in the toilet there? Can you see the picture? Yeah. He's like in a toilet and he's like shooting everybody. Yeah, I mean, come on. These kids have no chance. So, right? So, like, he's just as happy to watch that as to look at a whale. But the thing is, like, he watches it dances, actually. He let it play, and then he runs, he does a dance, he goes crazy. So, he watches quite actively. But anyway, so, he doesn't need that, right? What is it that I'm trying to do for myself? And what is it that I'm trying to do for my kid that if he says, I like whales, we go to Alaska? What's happening there?
Take action.
Action. What else? Real reality instead of virtual, 100%, yes. Skibbity toilet versus real whales, yes. The two ends of the spectrum. What else? Like literally. What else? Soon to be Metaverse, the other end of the spectrum, but what else?
Reinforce that you have cause.
Yes, reinforcing at the cause. All that I'm doing is I'm just making little adventures and then going and executing on them. That's what it means to be human. What it means to be human is back in the day, we would have not been in this social matrix. We would have been out in the fucking forest somewhere, small tribe, and we would just do what the fuck we want to do. What do we want to go do? How do we want to live? And we'd make up a plan and we'd go and we'd execute on it. That's really living, okay? That is what it means to really live. So when I learned about things like social skills, that was me saying my adventure is I want to be able to smash it socially. Why? Look, I'll be real with you. I have light level autism. I'm also very horny. And I was just like, you know what? I want to do the shit I saw on the internet. And at least I went and rather than most guys that go like that all day, I was like, that's not enough for me. And I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna actually do the things that I dream of doing. Now, a lot of people will call that lowbrow. Stop. Come on. There's not one guy in here who doesn't have the dream to do certain things that he's seen on the internet. Just shut the fuck up. Every guy has that, but they don't have the balls to just own it and be like, yeah, I want to make that a win-win for somebody else. I want to bring enough value to someone else that I could have a shared experience with them that would bring them value. But they don't think like that. I wanted to have a fun time myself, but I wanted to bring value to other people too. I want to do it consensually. I want to do it win-win. I want to do it honestly and with integrity. That was what I wanted to do. Now as I get older, I have much greater aspirations. You know, I still make space for some of that, but I have much, much greater aspirations. But I wanted to have that experience. Now that I've kind of lived out that experience, it doesn't really hold a lot of draw for me, but I still enjoy going out and fucking crushing it. So, you know, but for those of you that have not had experience of doing wild, fun things, maybe you want to have that experience if done safely and consensually. That's up to you. Or maybe you want to use those skills not to go mess around with a bunch of people, but to build a family, which I think would be even better. Being a young family, I think is even better than that. But you're like, I'm not one of those going out guys. I'm a family guy. Okay, family guy. Well, guess what? How are you going to build that? By going out, right? You think that just because you go, I'm ready for a family, you think anyone's coming to save your ass? No. In fact, if you just want to go have fun, go out twice a week. You want to meet someone to have a family with, go out 7 days a week. How many of you guys in here want to build a family at some point? How many of you in here want to have an amazing dating life? Cool, right? So how does that happen? What do you think? Being highly proactive, right? If I walk down the street with you guys and we see someone that you like to talk to, do you know how to do it? Effortlessly. You're like, okay, that's what I want to do. I'm going in, I'm doing it, I know exactly how to do it. Well, if you don't know that yet, then become proactive. Do you guys know how to build a product and to sell it? Well, if you don't know that yet, then build it and become proactive. You want to be always working on social skills, always building out products, always studying marketing and studying the market and learning how to market those products, learning about pricing, learning how to sell. If you work for somebody else, then what you should do is learn how to add value to them. Be always doing that, learning all things about health, having more vitality via health, learning more about health all the time, and then picking adventures that you want to have and going and having those adventures all the time. Remember I said here, I'm like, I'm going to go to Wilmington. Okay, Wilmington's 2 hours from you guys. Charleston's 2 hours from you guys. Savannah's like 2 hours from you guys. Jekyll Island, where they built the modern financial system demonically, is not that far from you guys, right? Make little plans and little adventures to go do the things that you want to do. You guys even have that group that we created. You guys can go do stuff like that. You know, be having adventures. And then be saying, how can I help other people? Have a quest to leave legacy and to help other people. And then say to yourself, how do I become more spiritually tapped in? How am I always more present, more happy, more at the cause, not the effect of my state? So if you keep doing that, here's what your life will look like. You will date the most attractive people in the world. You will have more money than you can spend. You will be so fucking healthy that you have energy coming out of your fucking pores and vitality. You will feel so internally at peace and happy, or if you want to be jacked up or excited or laugh, you'll know how to do it. You'll have super crazy communication skills. You'll know how to build products, know how to market things. You'll also feel really good about yourself because you're helping other people. Maybe you're building towards a family to leave that legacy and raise your kids really well. And ultimately, as you leave a legacy and help other people, you are also spiritually ascending. That's the message that I am trying to hammer you with today. Okay? I'm trying to leave a message to you here and give that to you as a gift and hammer you with that. Does that resonate?
Yes.
Well, that's the end of this first segment. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay? Your life can be fucking awesome.